Hey everybody, it's me, Gregory Mannarino. How are you today? Alright guys, we have a lot of information to go over today. I made a whole bunch of charts up for you. Now this is a suggestion for you. If you're new to this blog, or even if you watch this every day, I would suggest you either re-watch, or if you're again here for the first time, watch these other videos first, or again, before moving forward with this one, because I'm going to cover a lot of things today. The videos I would suggest you watch prior to watching this one would be one that I did on June 12th titled Alert, X-Wave Phenomenon, Major Financial Event. One I did on June 14th titled Stock Market Overvalued, Crash Coming. One I did on June 19th titled Cracks in the Bond Market Bubble, and the one I did yesterday titled Big Moves for Gold and Silver Coming. Now, I know that's a lot of stuff to go over. However, it really depends on your level of commitment here. I honestly try very hard to give you guys the most accurate information that I have. And my goal in doing this is to, again, try my hardest to bring you guys up to speed with where I see things going regarding moving closer to this financial and economic disaster that is just around the corner. So, with that said, let's move on here. Okay. There's so much going on right now, guys, as many of you are aware of who follow the global financial and economic situation, and they don't talk about any of this stuff in the mainstream media, and I think it's just so important for people to really understand what's going on, because how do people know where they should invest, what they should be putting their money in, or getting it out of, and build their own businesses? For example, if someone is thinking about creating, starting up a business, should they be doing that right now? What should they expect? And I think it's just so important. So let's go over a few things, guys. Let's start going over these charts that I've done for you. All of my charts here are based on the long term. What I mean by that is from 2005 until now. This first chart I want to talk about is a chart of the US dollar. Some very interesting things going on here, and it is going to play into a lot of the other stuff we're going to talk about. This is a chart of the US dollar from 2005 until now. What I want you to notice is look at dollar peak, dollar peak, dollar peak, dollar peak. So we've made lower highs, and the last two times we've also made deeper lows. Now, what I believe is going to happen here is we're going to start to see a dollar pullback or a drop, just as we've been seeing in this particular pattern here. We're going to see the dollar begin to fall off. In fact, I am certain that this is what's going to happen for a lot of reasons. Now let's move forward. I'm going to show you another chart I did, guys, and I think this is very, very telling. This is a chart of gold, again, same time period, 2005 until now. What I've done is I've overlaid that chart that I just showed you about the dollar on this one, and the dollar is outlined in blue. Let's go over that. Okay. Here we go, guys. Incredibly interesting things going on here. First of all, look at this trend for gold. Okay, it's been in a screaming uptrend since 2005. As you know, it really accelerated right here. This was the crash of 2008. As you can see, the minimal effect that it had on gold anyway. But again, dollar peak, dollar peak, dollar peak, dollar peak. Every time the dollar has dropped, as you can see, gold has gone up. Now, I'm expecting the dollar again to drop here. Gold is going up, guys. Gold is going up big time. It's going to pull silver with it. Silver is going to outperform gold, though. There's no doubt about it. You guys who follow this blog, who have read my books, understand that I personally feel that physical silver, forget about SLV, is the most undervalued asset in the history of the world at this particular point. So you guys should be obtaining as much of it as you can get your hands on. Okay. I want to show you guys another chart here. This is a chart of crude oil, again, going against the dollar, and I've outlined the dollar in blue in this chart as well. Let's look at this. Alright, first of all, what do we see here, guys? Now, despite this recent pullback in crude that everyone's going crazy over, crude has been in another really nice uptrend here. Now, what else do we see? Dollar peak. Now, dollar peak again. When the dollar drops, look what happens. Dollar drop, crude goes up. Crude is going to rise here, guys. It's done it every single time. Do you expect it to be any different? I certainly do not. I expect crude to be much, much higher by the end of the year. Moving forward. Okay. This is also another very telling chart here. This is a chart, again, the dollar is overlaid in blue versus the 10-year Treasury bond. Let's have a look at this. Alright, first of all, the 10-year here, and this goes not just for the 10-year, but all of the long-term bonds, there is a screaming uptrend. Okay. But what else do we notice here? A couple of very interesting things are going on here. I'm expecting to see the dollar drop here. Okay, every single time the dollar has dropped, look at what has happened to the 10-year. I'm expecting that as well to pull back. Now, you have to understand what's going on here. The Fed is not going to allow interest rates to rise. The bond market is directly tied to interest rates. So, what the Fed is going to be forced to do after this Operation Twist Squared runs out is institute another type of a bond buying program, because they're not going to allow this to happen, and they're not going to allow interest rates to rise. Very interesting. Now, I can tell you this before we move forward. The Fed has one bullet left. That one bullet is more QE. More overt QE. QE has never really stopped. For those of you that follow the money supply, the M2 numbers and all that stuff. It's not going to work. By that particular point, at the end of this year when Operation Twist Squared ends, and as soon as they try to initiate a new bond buying program, people are going to realize, wow, none of this has worked, it's not working, and major things are going to occur at that point. Now, I plan to be here to keep you guys well informed, well in advance as to what is going on. Now, let's move forward. Wow, there is just so much stuff going on here, guys. Okay, I want to talk about another chart I had made up. This is the Dow versus the dollar once again. A lot of interesting things are going on here as well, so let's look at it. Alright. This is the Dow, this is the crash of 2008. This is the dollar. Dollar peak, dollar peak, dollar peak, dollar peak. Now, what have we noticed? Every single time the dollar value has dropped, we've seen a rise in the market. It makes sense, right? Because when the dollar is worth less, everything goes up. Everything costs more, even shares of stock. Okay, and this plays into the whole scam that Obama and the Fed are trying to pull off to make people think that, you know, things are all just great. Now, a lot of people believe that the Dow is an economic indicator. It is not an economic indicator in any way. As a matter of fact, this here is the crash of 2008, right? This entire segment is fake. It's what I mean by that is this is quantitative easing 1, this is quantitative easing 2, this is Operation Twist squared. So without all of that, based on current economic conditions, where should the Dow be? What would be fair market value for the Dow? Now, as you guys know, I've been saying for the longest time that the Dow, the equity markets, are grossly overvalued, despite what all of these talking heads on TV are talking about. They have no idea what they're actually talking about. They just blab. So let's go on. Let's move forward here. I'm expecting the dollar value to drop here. This may push the Dow up a little bit higher as well. But before I move forward with this chart, I want to show you something. This is another chart of the Dow. Okay, same time period, 2005 until now. Okay, now look at this curve I plotted. Okay, I'm expecting this Operation Twist squared maybe to bump up here at its absolute highest. Now, I don't even know if we're going to get there. That could depend on many factors. Now, let's just put a fair value on the Dow, because I speak about this all the time. Crash of 2008, where we were then economically and where we are now. Prior to the crash of 2008, unemployment was only 4.6, GDP 4.92. Right now, today, unemployment 8.2, GDP 1.9. Okay, so we also realize that 38% on an average of the net worth of the American people has been lost. Does it make any sense to you, in any way, shape, or form, that the Dow should be at the level that it is right now? Absolutely not. 100% no. And I also want to base it against one other thing. Let's go back to this chart. This is the chart that I just showed you. It may look familiar to you. There's a lot of scribbling on it, but let me just point out a few things. This is where the dollar is right now. At this point, if you just go back here, this is where the Dow was at this particular point. Same convergence here, here, and here. Now, what does that mean? Well, if you were to gauge the value of the Dow, okay, against the dollar at those particular points, without even considering the deteriorating economy, unemployment, GDP, this is saying, that fair market value would probably be somewhere around 11,000. Now, you guys who follow this blog realize that I've said that many times, that we are going to see a pullback to probably Dow 11.5, Dow 11,000 in extreme case before we see more overt quantitative easing. But the Fed has got a huge problem regarding that. Again, it's not going to work. Now, if we were to gauge this particular convergence here against the economic situations regarding unemployment, GDP, the Dow should be no higher than 10,000, probably closer to 9,000. Now, in my opinion, that would be a fair market value for today, right now, but it's going to deteriorate. It's going to deteriorate quite a lot. As a matter of fact, for those of you guys out there who have my book and have read it, you know exactly where I believe the Dow is going to go, as well as the prices of gold and silver. But I'm not going to talk about that right now. We'll talk about that another time. So basically what I want you guys to understand is this. Again, major things going on here. The dollar is going to fall. We are going to see gold, silver, crude, other commodities rise by the end of the year. Again, the Fed is almost out of bullets. They got one in the chamber, and when they fire that one, I think it's going to completely backfire, and it's not going to have any of the intended effects that they're expecting. Hold on a minute. I promise to get a new camera, guys, and I promise to get a new mic. I'm in the middle of setting up a new studio. It's going to take a little while, but it's going to be nice when it's done. Anyway, guys, I hope I have made sense to you in this particular video. I always urge you guys to share these videos. I think there's a lot of information here that's important. Please review those videos that I talked about earlier. In fact, check my channel. There is an enormous amount of information there. It's all free. You know, in your spare time, go over it. If you were to do that, if you were to just go over my channel and watch these videos, you will probably have a better idea about current economic, global, and financial situations than 99% of the people out there. There's no doubt about it. Also, please subscribe to my channel. You will be the first to get these videos. Please support this blog, and you can do that easily by picking up a copy of one of my books. The one behind me, and I have 3 more as well. I outline so much stuff in that book that is just really, honestly, I think critical. That if you guys are on the same page as I am, that you need to know. And it would not only support this blog by picking up a copy of one of those books, but believe me, it will help you as well. There's no doubt about that as well. Alright guys, listen, I'm going to end this video. Like I said, please have a great day. I know I went over a lot of stuff here. Maybe you want to watch this video twice. You could pause on those charts and maybe you know, study them a little bit, maybe blow them up bigger. And I will see all of you guys tomorrow. You guys take care.